What should he, meaning Elon, what should he do with his money? Why is it okay for a contractor to buy property and build 24 of his houses on it? Okay, that's not what we're talking about here. We're not talking about somebody that's a contractor that's building houses for other people. I showed where these houses were. They're in the same neighborhood. They're not just houses, they're mansions. So he buys, okay, maybe you can make the argument that, okay, he buys 2 mansions next to each other because he wants more land. But that's not all he did. He bought then across the street or kitty corner. Not to sell it or to anybody. And then he dumped, and then he did that in the same area, but on a different street, 3 other houses. I showed it in the video. That's the point. No, who does that? And then he dumped them. He dumped every single one of them in 2020. That isn't a red flag to you? He lost money when he dumped them. I think in the one in Hillsborough he did anyway. And who does that? I mean, one of them he bought in January 2019 and turned around and dumped it and sold it. He sold all of them, put them all on the market in 2020. What does that tell you? What happened to Diddy? All of his places got raided. But he'll tell you, no, he wanted to get rid of his money. He doesn't care about money. He's a minimalist. Well, guess what? He secretly bought another mansion. So he's clearly about having the luxuries. And I'm not saying he shouldn't. He has money, okay. It's the fact that he's where he was buying them. All those 6 of those mansions were no more than 10 minutes away from Diddy's. Yet, what sense does it make that you're buying 3 houses, 3 mansions on the same block? And yet, there's only 2 of them that are right next to each other, but the 3 of them on the same block, and then another 3 in the same area, the same neighborhood, buying another 3 mansions on a different block. It shouldn't be hard to put together here. When people traffic, they do most of it underground. Much of it, not all of it. But to smuggle or human trafficking, whatever it is, underground is the best way. I mean, everything has some underground. I mean, the White House does. The Capitol does. For them to get, without having to go outside or, they go underground and get, over to the next building. I mean, so that, can you not see what's going, I mean, yet he then has a boring company. And his reason for saying he wanted underground tunnels is because the traffic was so bad in LA. Or just in general. Okay. Nobody buys 3 mansions on the same block. I mean, unless he didn't sell them to anybody, it's because he wanted more security and more room for family and friends. How many friends do you have then on the same street? You're buying 3 mansions, and it was right a couple of those were right at the same time that Diddy bought his. And Elon said he would, before Diddy was raided, he said that he was good friends with, or that Diddy was a good friend of his, that they text all the time. Diddy was an investor into X. So what do you think Elon bought it for? What, has he released anything? No. He loves to dangle that carrot, though. That he says he bought X and it was a crime scene. Oh, I bet it was. And if it was one that he knew anything about, then you'd want to buy it. Because even Trump said it was likely an illegal deal. I mean, the amount of money, like $44 billion. But he went to great lengths to buy it. Yet everybody in America has been told that he bought it because he's a free speech absolutist. Bullshit. I'm suppressed, so are other conservatives. We're shadow banned. He's not a free speech absolutist. He said it I mean, he said before, I'll give you freedom of speech, but not reach. I mean, that is still suppressing. You're still playing God. So he's not a free speech absolutist. So why do you think he bought it? He was good friends with Diddy. He didn't want any of the stuff that they were doing, because there's been a bunch of child exploitation that's gone on Twitter, and people say that that's not even cleaned up. So the problem itself with child exploitation on Twitter hasn't even been cleaned up. But more than that, I think it was just because he can control and not have any of the names come out. And why would he want to do that? Well, I don't know. But then he's buying mansions that are, no more than 10 minutes away from Diddy, and yet he's buying three mansions on the same street in one area of the neighborhood, and then in the next, or wherever in the same area, in the same neighborhood, buying another 3 mansions on a different street. And all 6 of those mansions are within 10 minutes of Diddy's. So it's not about, he wasn't buying them because the only explanation, I said it in the video, for him doing that was that he wanted more room for family and friends. Okay, 6 mansions in the same neighborhood. You have that many friends and I mean, so I don't know why people can't put that together. I mean, even if you want to say, okay, well, maybe they want to have 2 mansions. I mean, yeah, and some people are saying, well, Oprah has more than 1 mansion. I understand that. I get it. Many people do. Diddy had more than 1 mansion. People that aren't involved with Diddy that are wealthy have more than 1 mansion. I get it. But they don't have them all on the same street, or one across from the other, or kitty, and they don't have 3 on this street and then in the same neighborhood buy another 3. Unless you want to have some big time parties and you want to create some underground tunnels from that house to this house, so not being detected. Does that make sense now?